So I have a 4-year-old who's constantly on top of me. If I'm sitting on the couch, you can guarantee he's sitting right beside me, underneath me usually. He tries to shove his feet as far underneath me as he can to get as close as he possibly can to mommy. Last night, he was having trouble sleeping, so he came into my bed, which means I was having trouble sleeping. So he snuggles right up next to me, and he's got his leg wrapped around me and his arms wrapped around me, and he's trying to get as close as possible. And I said, Bubba, scoot over a little bit. And he's like, but I want you, Mommy. And every time I went to move, every time I went to shift, every time I went to roll over, he was right there next to me. He does the same thing throughout the day. I can be standing there doing dishes, and then suddenly I'll feel something grab a hold of my leg, and he will be literally wrapped around my leg and holding on to me just as hard as he can. But as he was doing it last night, and I was getting a little bit annoyed because I couldn't hardly move without him being, right there on top of me, I thought, you know what? I want to annoy Jesus this way. I want to be right up on top of him, so close to him that when he turns around, he's like, what? Who is that? Who is that up my tushy? And it's going to be me. He's going to be like, oh, well, that's my daughter, Cindy. Oh, my goodness. I wish she'd give me a little bit of space. And I got to thinking, and I think God kind of encourages that. He wants us so close to him that when he shifts, we can feel the movement and we can shift with him. When he changes directions, we can shift with him and change directions. You don't have to worry about where you're supposed to go if you're latched onto the leg of the person that you're following. You're going to go where they go. If you're so close to them, you know their smell. You can recognize them by their aroma. You hear their voice. You can feel their heartbeat, the warmth of their flesh. And this is what Jesus wants from us. He wants us to be so close to him. We hear his heartbeat. We recognize his voice. We become accustomed to hearing him. And as he shifts, we automatically shift because we've got such a firm grasp on him. If you look in the Bible, there was a disciple who clung to Jesus. John the Beloved, he was the one that was frequently found laying his head on Jesus' chest. And I wonder if maybe he just had his head there so he could hear God's heartbeat. So he could hear exactly what God was wanting him to do. He was the one that the disciples went to ask for questions. They would say, go ask Jesus this for us. Go ask him this. Because when you're that close to Jesus, it's nothing to whisper, Daddy, I need you, or Daddy, I have a question, because you're so close to him. You've been with him so much. You get his scent off on you. You get his mission rubs off on you. You start walking the same way that he's walking because you've been used to keeping up with his footsteps, because you've been clinging to him. Y'all, I want to be that close to Jesus. I want to be so close to Jesus. When he shifts, I shift. When I leave his presence, I still smell like him. I can't tell you how many times my 4-year-old boy has went and hugged his daddy or his nana, and they're like, I smell your mama on you. And you do. You smell my perfume or my lotion or whatever it is on him. You recognize he has been with mommy today. I want that. I want people to say, what's that smell? Oh, she's been with Jesus today. She has been in the presence of the Shekinah glory. She's knelt at the feet of Jesus. And I want Jesus to be to the point where he's like, I can't make a move without her right on top of me. She knows my going. She knows my coming. She is acquainted with me. She is part of me. She has become attached to me. I want to be so close to Jesus that I don't have to worry about the next step because he's already taken it for me.